Hey, I'm back. I'm going to show you how to make 3 different salsas today, 3 different green salsas. And before I do that, I want to show you some basic staples. So first, of course, is the tomatillos. And as I mentioned in my last video, if you didn't see that, there's 2 different types of tomatillos that you can typically buy at the grocery store. So first you have a larger one. So these are bigger tomatillos. These release a lot of liquid. So I like to use these for when I want to make a runnier salsa. These smaller ones, these are tomatillos milperos. These are smaller and they reduce a lot less liquid. So when I'm making a salsa de molcajete or I want something just thicker, then I like to use these smaller tomatillos. And I'll show you today which I'm using for which salsa. Second, jalapenos and serrano peppers. In my opinion, serrano peppers tend to be a lot stronger, more spicy, whereas jalapenos not as much. So just depending on your taste, you can use whatever you'd like. There's other types of chiles verdes, of course, that you can use as well, but these are the main ones that you will see in traditional green salsas. Cilantro tends to be an additive at the end of the salsa making process. You always want to have onion and garlic. Do not use powdered garlic. It is not going to taste good. And then aguacate for salsas that you want to make a little bit creamier. So I've started making a few salsas in the back, and I'm going to start with one of them. So come on back. So the first one I'm going to make is a salsa verde, the guacamole salsa. And so for that one, you want to roast about 6 tomatillos, not all the way through. So as you can see, these are roasted a little bit on the outside, but they're still pretty green on the inside. And so some people make this salsa with completely raw tomatillos and raw ingredients, but I do like to roast them a little bit. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our fresh garlic. We're going to blend the onion and the chiles first. So we're going to add a little bit of water, very little water. I mean, that's just to help blend the peppers. And at the same time, I'm also going to add the salt. All right, so as a reminder, I had about a quarter of an onion, a garlic clove, and 1 serrano and a half. The nice thing, that's my test. If I don't cough, then it's not spicy enough. The nice thing about blending this first is that if you think this is gonna be too much chile or too much spice, then you can always scoop out a couple of these spoonfuls of peppers and then make your salsa and then add it back in if you feel like it needs more spice, as opposed to trying to water it down. So next I'm going to add my 6 to 7 tomatillos. And you notice that I used the bigger ones for this salsa because I want it to be a little bit runnier so that it blends better with the aguacate that I'm going to add in a little bit. Okay. So once the salsa is fully blended, this is when you're going to add the aguacate. And I would start with half of an aguacate first and just kind of see how it feels. And then you can just add more if you need to add more. This is personal preference. If you want to add lime, you can add lime, but it's not. Some people do, some people don't. I added like half of a lime, and I'm also going to add my cilantro now. About this much. I'm checking it. It's actually pretty creamy already. But I'm gonna add another quarter of a avocado. This is nice. You could keep blending it if you want to have a smoother salsa, but I think I'm gonna stop here. And of course I made too much, so this makes a lot of salsa. All right, for the next salsa, all of our ingredients are boiled except for our raw garlic. And our cilantro as well. So we're starting with a full garlic clove of onion. I'm actually going to do maybe a little bit less, maybe like 3/4 of a garlic clove. And for this one, I used also larger tomatillos because I want this to be a runnier salsa. And I also have a serrano and a half, and 1/4 of an onion. I'm gonna blend that first with salt. And a little bit of water, a tiny bit of water. For the next step, I'm going to add cilantro. Oh my gosh. Pero me gusta. Me gusta enchilarme. And there's about 10 tomatillos in here. So again, that was 1 serrano and a half, 1/4 of a white onion, a garlic clove, and 10 tomatillos. And cilantro as well. All right, for the last salsa, it's going to be a roasted tomatillo salsa. I'm going to have the garlic, the salt, and I'm going to grind it up. To have that grounded up, then I'm going to add the chiles and the onion. And you can use jalapenos or serranos. It just depends on your preference for your spice level. I do suggest having really strong arms if you want to use a molcajete. Okay, for this salsa, because I wanted it to be thicker, I used the small tomatillos. So you can see these are smaller, and I have about 20 of them in here. Also, the reason why I use aluminum is because it's just easier for cleanup. So let me throw this away. The moment we've all been waiting for. I'm gonna actually have Ruth and Christian come over and taste the salsas and see what their favorite is. So Ruth is trying the boiled ingredient salsa first. So is Christian. What do you think?
It's a little spicy.
It definitely has a hard kick.
A little spicier than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try the creamy one.
Yeah, I really like that one.
That was my favorite.
Yeah,
See?
it's really
I kind of
good.
thought it was gonna be my favorite. I'm excited to try this last one because I kind of like it when it's not super blended, and that's what you get when you use a molcajete. Good.
Yeah, has a similar kick.
Tintilaste, Ruth?
A little bit.
Not disappointed.
You like it?
I like it.
It's good if you really like spicy, like salsas. If you want something a little bit more mild, the creamier one is the one to go for.
Yeah. I like this one because it's like interesting texture.
This is super thick. Pues a ver, I'm gonna see why it's your favorite. It is really good. I like the lime in there. All right, so a That's all I have. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you want to see next. See ya.